can you please tell me how the thigh lift procedure works?
Is that it?
There's a second bit. How do I book for a consultation? And then
okay.
Just call us or email us or
yeah,
DM
so
us. Or...
DM on Instagram or comment here or email us info@eterno360.com.
But the question is, can you tell me how a thigh lift procedure works?
Okay, so a thigh lift procedure. A true thigh lift, a full thigh lift involves liposuction, so removal of fat and removal of skin from the thigh using a scar that runs down the inside of your leg. I'm going to show you the inside of my leg.
You're going to be like a cat. I thought you were going to get your ankle.
I wish I still could. So, the seam of your trouser leg, seam, there, that is where the scar goes. That's a really good approximation as to where the scar goes. Now, I do a lot of consultations, and sometimes you can I'm sort of waiting patiently for the person to say what they always say. And thigh lift is one of those times because they always say, can't you just pull up? Can't you just pull up so I don't have the scar going down the inside? Yeah, no. You can. That's called a mini thigh lift. And in some people it helps, in some people it works. There are some operations I never do because they're such a terrible idea. But mini thigh lift is not an operation I never do because in some people it works. But if you imagine that you have a pair of trousers and you want to reduce the circumference of the trouser leg, you wouldn't put turn-ups on. You would reduce the seam along the inside. And that's what we're doing with a thigh lift. Why the liposuction? In fact, often we'll do very little liposuction to the rest of the thigh and only liposuction the bit of the thigh that we're taking the skin off. And you think, well, why would you do that? That's the only bit. You didn't need to liposuction, you might say. We're not liposuctioning for the point of liposuction. We are liposuctioning so that we free up all the skin underneath the bit we're cutting off. And then we make a cut around the bit that we've worked out can come away. And do you know what we do then? You've got to see this.
Put it all back together.
No, we pull hard. You literally put a clamp on and you pull. It's called an avulsion. It's a liposuction assisted avulsion thigh lift. And the reason for that, it's a bit grim. It's quite nice. Not if you've got someone who's quite new to theatres, it's quite nice to shock them.
Oh.
Good story. And the liposuction just releases a plane of tissue between the skin and the really important blood vessels and major lymphatics. So it leaves those behind whilst you take the skin off. So it's a really actually nice way of doing it. It does look a little bit gruesome. It's the least plastic surgery type thing I do. In that it just looks a little bit. It's Jen. Hello.
Evening, you gorgeous people.
Evening,
Hello.
you gorgeous person. How are you? I haven't seen you in ages. You need to get your butt over to Berkshire Grove Hospital, by the way, and work with us sometime. So get in touch with us. We'd just love to have you there. So yeah, that's how a thigh lift works.
Done on thigh lifts?
Done
right.
on thigh lifts. Do I need to tell you anything else about thigh lifts? I can say that you can now get around having such a long scar thigh lift. It is possible. And the way in which you can do that is by having liposuction and a minimally invasive tissue tightening thing done first. Liposuction and Renuvion. I've talked about Renuvion a lot. I'll continue to talk about it a lot because I do love it. And then let it settle down and see how well it settles down. And then you can come back 6 months later, 12 months later. And if you need a thigh lift at all at that point, then the thigh lift scar that you'll need will be much shorter than it would have been. So there's a tip for the top. And it might just be possible to do a mini thigh lift with a scar up in the crease, up in the groin crease. So there you go.
Okay.